It beats logic how subsidies provided by the government on certain products are usually counterproductive in Nigeria. The federal government is lamenting over blackout across the country despite 65% electricity subsidy. As such, the Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu, has warned that power distributor companies, DISCOs, that reject electricity allocated to them by the Transmission Company of Nigeria will be dealt with. Adelabu said non-performance of DISCOs in terms of epileptic power supply is the basis for revocation of licenses. The minister stressed that non-performing DISCOs will be fished out and sanctioned. GKB, what are your thoughts on this and how believable, if I say, is this statement, or rather perception?
Well, I said this last week and I'll say it again. Nigerian government officials should stop telling us what they are going to do. They should do it. We know the DISCOs that are not performing. We know what they do. In my area, some people are on 1 day on, 1 day off, simply because the DISCO said that their vendor cannot supply the parts because they've not paid him for what he supplied 3 years ago. People are suffering for your incompetence. Not because there was no power to distribute, but because you are owing your vendors and agents money. I've known the minister all his life. He's like a brother to me, and I know he means well. But at this point in time, I'm not very happy when people tell me what they are going to do. You have been minister for 6-7 months. Do it already. Without power, nothing will work in Nigeria. Quote me. That is the basis of our civilization. That's the basis for our whatever we are doing. Without power, nothing. And last year or 2 years ago, before Buhari left, when he gave the license for states to start generating, how many states have taken up the offer to weed themselves off the national grid? So the problem is at the top. It's in the middle, and with everybody else. This should not be news. What will be news is for the minister to tell us that yesterday, DISCO A, B, C, D were sanctioned for incompetence. And that this is the fine they are going to pay. That's what I want to hear. The heat in Lagos yesterday, is beyond the pale. Some people said I came back to Nigeria too soon.
No sweat. But we're in a tropical region, so it's bound to happen anyway.
It's not terrible. The heat I saw yesterday, prisoners will revolt in some countries.
I don't even know how prisoners cope.
Seriously.
Because nobody gives them fun.
Yeah, and they are put together like sardines.
I was in prison recently in the Northeast. I can't talk about what.
No. Imagine.
But if I talk about it next time, they won't allow me to
come in. Yeah. We need to solve this problem. It's not by threatening people. It's by doing the job.
Doing the job.
Sanction the person or the company. Let's have a list. DISCO A has been sanctioned 2 billion. DISCO B has been sanctioned 22 billion. That's what we want to know. People want light. They want power. They don't get it. And they don't want to listen to stories. It's unfortunate.
BK, from your own perspective, do you think perhaps the power minister needs to do more, taking a cue from what GKB has just highlighted so far?
Yeah, there are many reasons why DISCOs are rejecting power. One of it is the fact that some of the equipment can't take all of what is transmitted. We need to continue to invest in transmission lines. We need to invest in what's it called, transformers and the rest of them. It's impracticable for them at this time to take everything that is sent to them. There are some communities where people don't pay. And if you go there to try to cut their electricity supply, they will beat the hell out of you. Now, if you are a DISCO, would you continue to send
your personnel
to people? I mean, would you something to give light to people who will not pay? It's one of the reasons they do it. Some have made up their mind they will not pay. So let's face it, some of the government ministries, Adelabu knows this now, some of the government ministries are owing so much money. Even Aso Rock was owing. The president just gave instruction that they should go and pay. The military, they are owing. Police, they are owing. Nobody wants to pay. Because we are military, nobody can come and cut our lights. They don't want to pay. It should be in your budget. What you want to spend on utilities and all that should be in your budget. And once it's approved, pay the service provider. But we don't want to pay. It's embarrassing to hear the level of indebtedness of Nigerian ministries, departments, and agencies. It's embarrassing. For many years, they didn't think they had to pay. It's embarrassing to hear that even Aso Rock, Aso Villa, they are owing. And the president said, go and pay. Hundreds of millions of naira. And you want the discourse to survive. Look, I don't like the discourse for the fact that they insist on estimated billing and all that. But Nigerians, many Nigerians are also energy thieves, bypassing meter to enjoy electricity for free. Those are part of the problems. I'm not speaking for them. Or if people want to interpret what I'm saying, okay, fine. But I know that they have reasons for not giving some people electricity. If you can't recover your money, would you continue to provide service? Why is the army complaining that their mortuaries, corpses are decomposing because they didn't give them light? Why are you not paying? Why should the army owe? Abi? So if you are owing now, you expect me to still continue to give you. Of course, I will not give you. I will not give you. So the problems, the minister has to come sit with these people. Enough of these excuses that he's giving. Call the stakeholders. How do we solve these problems?
Right.
There is a serious problem of gas to generating companies. That's why we are unable. How can a country like Nigeria, we are even struggling to generate 3,000 megawatts? 3,000. When Egypt is already in position to export, Egypt is planning to export electricity to some countries of Europe like Cyprus. We are here.
Struggling.
We can't generate. We have never generated 6,000 megawatts in this country.
When we tried it,
the highest that
collapsed.
we generated was less than 6,000. And even when we generated, by the next day, there was system failure.
Collapsed totally.
Because some of the equipment need to be freshened up. It's a fact. The generating capacity that we have is above 10,000 megawatts. But we are only doing between 3,500 to 4,000 these days.
Yeah.
So it's a whole lot of problem that the minister needs to sit down and let's see how can we solve the matter of gas constraints. How do we help the GENCOs ensure that they have gas? Because if they don't have sufficient supply of gas, they can't generate. And if they don't generate, what is there to transmit?
It also bears the question that each state should also be independent to produce their own
No,
power.
they were given the...
You see, the law all along had not favored us. In the past, the law said if we generate anything above 50,000 megawatts, it must go to the national grid. So you see a state spend so much money to build a power plant, yet its own people cannot enjoy the power that is generated. Because once it's fed to the national grid takes, they will then decide where it goes. Every state should be able to develop at its own pace. If you have, like Lagos now, Lagos should have its own power company and transmit by itself.
Well, we have a law to that effect. The president had assented to that. So what stops the state from implementing it?
When did they give assent? Oh, these things, they don't rush these things now. When did they give the assent? When did the president even come into office? It's not as if it's a long time ago. You know? States will do it, but on an incremental basis, they will plan. It's on a state, for example, that had power plant before. What do you expect them to do? Now build another one because they are not allowed to use their thing. I know that Akwa Ibom, they built a power plant. I know that Kwara, Bukola Saraki completed the power plant in Gomo. He paid the contractors. They left in anger. He called them back. He completed it. But go to Kwara now, you won't enjoy electricity. Sometimes I'm in alone to see my parents. We don't have light. So a lot has to change. It needs a conversation. All the stakeholders sit together. What can we do? We can't continue like this. There's no way the economy can grow when you don't have a constant electricity supply. Businesses are dying because they can't afford diesel. That's the conversation that I expect the minister to call. All this will let us talk. Instead of simply apportioning blames here and there. No, it won't take us anywhere.